Welcome back to Weekly Wolverine. I am your host, Raylee Fry, and before we get to this week's announcements, I'd like to introduce you to our special guest, Danny Mattox. Welcome to Vian. Thank you for coming out to see us.
Sure, I'm glad to be here. I always love a trip down I-40. Yeah, because I'm in Norman, so we take,
Yeah.
Hey, you guys have bear crossing signs now. Those are new off of the highway. I don't know if you know this or not.
Are there actually?
I guess there are, I know there are bears because my cousin hunts them.
Well, no, I know there's bears, but I didn't know they had signs up now.
Well, I didn't know that either till like a month ago. It's cool. Times are changing.
What inspired you to get involved with OETT?
What inspired me? Well, I was a teacher. I guess I still kind of am. I was a science teacher. And before I did that, I had a whole, like a cat. I've had multiple lives. And so before I did that, I did television. So, this kind of thing was my jam for years. And then I was in Atlanta, Georgia. This was a big old city. And I ran a public access TV station, and I saw how just a little bit of education could change someone's life. And so we had people that didn't have homes, they were unhoused. We had people that had never graduated high school. They would come in and get a little bit of information about video and television production. They would produce a show, and I just saw it change lives. And so from that point, I realized education has a true power to change someone's life. And then additionally, technology can facilitate that. And so when I was in the classroom teaching and I became aware, so you had mentioned OETT, which is the Oklahoma Educational Technology Trust. That is kind of facilitated. The part that we do in Vian is facilitated out of the K20 Center, which is a part of the University of Oklahoma. So I went to work for the K20 Center, which is how I became aware of OETT. And I was like, man, they're doing exactly what motivated me to get into education in the first place. And so that's kind of what inspired me. And I can't imagine doing anything else. Like, this is the best. Like I said, if I had 9 lives like a cat, this is the best life.
Can you share any success stories or examples of how OETT initiatives have positively impacted schools in our state?
Well, yes. How much time do we have for this production? The stories are countless. So OETT has been around for over 20 years. And at this point, we've worked in 387 schools around Oklahoma since 2002. And every one of those schools, every one of them has a success story. It might be, some successes may be larger than others, but we have seen growth in all the schools that we've been in. So to give you some specific examples, here's one right here. I don't believe we'd be doing this had Vian High School not received an OETT grant. Another important part is we work with the teachers to help them integrate the technology. What we like to say is authentic technology integration. So you're using this technology in a real way that is used in the real world, not just as a toy. And that's what you're doing now. And every one of those 387 schools that we've been in use technology in that way by the end of the school year. So again, I could point out specific stories, but we would be here all day. This is a success story. You started at ground zero. None of this existed. And now we're sitting here doing a recording for you to share with other students. You're about to make all kinds of videos that will help incoming 8th graders choose their electives. It's just, the possibilities are really endless.
Mm-hmm. Are there any upcoming initiatives or projects that OETT is particularly excited about?
It's a great question. There's several. So I'm going to share one that maybe not a lot of people know about. So there is a large organization called the International Society for Technology and Education. And OETT usually has we always have a presence there. We do presentations on a national stage in front of, these meetings have 15 to 20,000 people at them. And so we go and we share stories from OETT. We share what we have learned with other teachers and students from around the world, really. And so we have that coming up in this summer in Denver. Last year when we went, one of our employees ended up publishing an article in a popular education magazine. And then another one, who is actually here today, was interviewed by a popular podcast as a result of our work. So that is something that not a lot of people know that we do, but we do have a national presence, and we help inform and educate others in in this industry, but we also go there to learn, because at the end of the day, everybody who works on OETT, we're lifelong learners. Like, we're learning something every day, every week. Technology changes by the minute almost.
How does OETT ensure that its programs and resources remain relevant and responsive to evolving educational needs?
Ooh, boy. You're asking some good questions. It's tough. I should have done my homework. Well, there are a lot of ways. So basically, how do we keep up with what? This kind of is a great question because it relates to the thing that we were just talking about. So one of the things that we do, we attend conferences, educational technology conferences. And so we keep up with the evolving trends in technology that way. Of course, I'm sure artificial intelligence is kind of the wave of the future. And that only became in wide use within the last year and a half. So it's really kind of exploded. But also augmented reality, virtual reality, which you have here in the Z-Space machines that you guys have. But the main way we keep up is we learn from each other. We do a lot of research online. We attend a lot of conferences. We do a lot of online learning stuff. So it's really, there's a lot of opportunities out there. You just have to know where to look.
What advice do you have for students who are interested in pursuing careers or opportunities in the field of educational technology?
Well, I would think this would be an easy question for me, but I'm really thinking, because like when you say educational technology, that is a huge umbrella. The number one thing is find something that interests you. Educational technology is broad. And so that could be, keeping up with internet security and infrastructure, if you're good with that. That could be learning how to program and code robots. That could be video production. It really could be a lot of different things. So since the tent is so large, find the thing that you're most interested in and pursue that. And you know what? It might change. Like I said, I started out in television and I wound up here, which is not a huge leap because I'm sitting here on camera right now. But find what interests you, and then you have to seek out additional educational opportunities. That really is probably the primary thing I could say to people who might be interested in this line of work, is you have to be willing to learn. You have to be kind of fluid in your understanding and your use of technology. But really it boils down to education. You've got to be, you have to learn.
Is there anything else you would like students and educators in our school or community to know about the work of OETT?
Just that we feel as an organization, we feel very fortunate to have this partnership with Vian. So it's a two-way street. Like, yeah, we come in, we help you purchase the technology and provide the professional development to implement that technology. But you have to invite us to do that. Like, your principals and superintendent did a lot of work to get here. Like, this doesn't just happen. They attended workshops, they wrote grants, and it's competitive. Not everybody who writes a grant gets funded. And so we appreciate the opportunity to work in your community and with everyone out there, the hundreds of thousands of viewers who may be watching in the metropolis of Vian, Oklahoma. I'm from a metropolis as well. You may have heard of Howe. Have you heard of Howe? See, it's a metropolis. So I totally get it. I love the fact that we get to work in a lot of smaller communities like Vian, and that's where I'm from, a small town. And so I don't even know what you asked me at this point, but thanks for letting us be out here. We've enjoyed coming out, and I look forward to, seeing everything you do.
Again, thank you so much, Mr. Mattox, for joining us today. Now I'll send it back to Jathan for this week's announcements.
Welcome back to Weekly Wolverine. Monday, baseball plays home at 4:30. Softball plays Muldrow home 4:30. Tuesday, FFA has a speech competition in Okmulgee. Baseball plays Central at 5:30. Slow pitch plays Roland at 5:30. Thursday, SCCLA Star Comp at Stillwell. Track goes to Wilberson. FFA goes to Jinx for a speech competition. Baseball plays Eufaula at 4:30. Slow pitch versus Weber's Falls at 4:30. Friday, FFA has a EOSE interscholastic thing at Wilburton. Baseball versus Haskell at 4:30. Sluppus versus Fort Gibson at 4:30. Saturday, baseball plays Prairie Grove at Stillwell, 12 o'clock and 4 o'clock.